Hey everybody, in today's video, Grammy is going to be sharing how she makes lapsi. Now for anybody who doesn't know what lapsi is, it is basically a sweet pudding that is usually made for Hindu religious functions as an offering to Mother Durga or some of the other Hindu goddesses. Now this right here is a recipe that has been passed down for generations. This video is dedicated to my beautiful great-grandmother. She has since passed on, but she has left recipes like this for us to keep cooking in our family for generations to come. So Grandma downstairs, I want to thank you for this recipe, and I want to thank Grammy for putting this recipe together for us today. So on my channel, I've already shared a lapsi recipe that is for a very small batch of lapsi that you can make at home just for you and your family, or just a very small group of people. However, in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a large batch of lapsi, and in the description box down below where you'll see all the ingredients and the measurements, I'll leave a measurement for a large tray of lapsi, so a very, very large amount for a lot of people, and I'll also leave half that amount for a small tray of lapsi. So if you need to make a little more for a bigger crowd, you'll have all of those measurements in the description box down below. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start in a large pot, and we're on a medium-low heat. We're going to parch our flour in the dry pot. And you want to do this so this way the flour can cook out, and you do not want the flour to get brown. So it's been about 12 minutes in our karahi, and the flour has taken on a lighter texture. As you're stirring it, you're going to feel that it's lighter and more airy. And at this point, the flour is done. Once you feel that lightness and you smell a nice bright nutty flavor, then it is time to remove it from the pot. Again, you do not want this to get super dark at all. It can take on just a slight golden color, but for the most part, you want it to stay white. What we're doing next is we're taking all of that dried flour out of the pot and we are putting it into a very big bowl. Now remember, with lapsi, you have to add in a lot of liquid, so make sure you use a very big bowl so this way you have space to mix it in. Now we let the flour cool for about 10 minutes. You could keep on stirring it because if you were to add the milk in while the flour is still hot, it tends to clump up a lot and it just makes for harder mixing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is stream in all of our milk. You can go ahead and use a combination of regular whole milk and evaporated milk. You can just use all whole milk. You can even use evaporated milk and water. You can use so many different combinations. We prefer to make it with all whole milk, but again, you can mix it whatever way you want to. So we're going to keep on mixing that milk in until the flour is properly combined with it. And if you wanted to, as you were stirring, you can go ahead and use a whisk, so this way you can break out those lumps. But it is totally fine whatever you use because you will be straining this into the pot later to get rid of any lumps. And once all of that milk and flour are mixed in properly together, it is time to go in with our sugar. Now sugar is very similar to if you were making parsad. You want to add in a good amount of sugar so this way you don't get that floury taste. This way you get a nice sweet rich taste to the lapsi. So we're just going to mix that in, and once you've gotten the flour and the milk as well as the sugar mixed in properly, it is time to start the cooking process. So in that same karahi, we're going to go in with some ghee. Now when you're making lapsi, we do not put in a whole bunch of ghee. If you put in too much, it'll be very oily and greasy. So you just want to go in with a little bit, and once your ghee has melted on a medium heat, you're going to go in with your lapsi mixture. Again, this is the milk, the sugar, and the flour that we had parched earlier. Now what we did before we put it into the pot was we strained it. That's why you see that it looks very smooth and there's no lumps. If you were to put it into the pot with the ghee with all of those lumps in it, they will never cook out and your lapsi is going to be a little bit grainy and it's going to have little fine lumps running throughout. So just add it in here. Remember, you don't want it sizzling too much because if it sizzles too much, it can start to form lumps at the bottom. And you're going to keep on stirring this on a medium heat for about 15 minutes until it starts to come together. What we're doing here is we're adding in a couple handfuls of soaked raisins. The reasons why we soak the raisins is because the raisins tend to burst or fall apart when you add them in dry. By soaking them, you reconstitute them a bit and they won't fall apart. And Grammy likes to put them in during this stage while it's still very liquidy, whereas my Auntie Chitra will put it in at the end of the process. So you can do it whatever which way you want. We're just going to keep on stirring it until it comes together nice and thick. Remember, you do not want this to be on a high heat because if it's on a high heat, it will start to form a lot of little lumps and get too thick too fast. So keep stirring, beat out any lumps, and once it gets thick, your lapsi is done. And after all of that stirring and waiting over the stove, you will have this beautiful, smooth, rich, and creamy lapsi. Now this of course is best served with puri, and it's usually made for Durga Puja or any type of Devi Puja or prayers, but you can also serve this with dosi roti. I just shared a recipe for that on my channel. and you can check that out and make it with your lapsi. If all of you beautiful people enjoyed this video today, please don't forget to give it a nice big thumbs up. Go ahead and click that red subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you never miss out on my newest videos, and you can come on over and join the Matthew's Guyanese Cooking family. And of course, drop those comments down below and let me know what you guys would like to see next. Bye everyone.